Scaling up your janitorial company is a motivation most owners in the industry have. The benefits to customers, employees, and the company are endless. But despite our desire, very few companies actually make it to a place where the company is on a long-term growth trajectory. If the foundation for scaling is not in place, growth may happen, but it won't be sustainable. In light of this, there are 3 barriers to scaling up. If you overcome these 3 barriers, growth becomes a thrill and an asset to the organization. But failure to overcome these barriers makes growth an anchor dragging your company down. According to Vern Harnish, author of Scaling Up, there are 3 impediments to scaling up your organization. These barriers are as follows. Number 1 is leadership. The inability to staff or grow enough leaders throughout the organization who have capabilities to delegate and predict. The second barrier is a scalable infrastructure. The lack of systems and structures, both physical and organizational structures, to handle the complexities in communication and decisions that come with the growth process. The third barrier to scaling up is marketing. The failure to scale up an effective marketing function to attract both new relationships to the business and address the increased competitive pressures as you scale. So look, as a company grows, so does complexity. During the early stages of every business, the owner is able to handle key relationships, ensure financial stability and controls, interview and hire as needed, connect with each employee, ensure quality, etc. But with each stage of growth, complexity mounts exponentially. And with less than 0.4% of all companies nationwide reaching $10 million in revenue, we can see how these barriers in actuality are rarely ever tackled. So let's look at each of these barriers and how each can help you solve the complexity of growth challenge. Okay, number 1, in terms of leadership. Elite leadership overcomes the complexity challenge by carrying out the company strategy through effective delegation and management. When you have elite leaders on your team, they become mini business owners within the business, owning and integrating a certain piece of the whole. They understand the value, the culture, the purpose, and they infuse their team and their operation with these things. These men and women are not mere managers working within a set standard operating procedure, but they're influencers of people, driving them to accomplish the goals set before them. Okay, number 2, scalable infrastructures. Scalable infrastructures are the roads that we lay upon which our leadership and their teams will travel. They are the ways we do business that allow us to move from 10 customers to 100 customers or maybe even to 1,000 customers. For instance, if you have a method of delivering your service that would not work in another city or with 10 times the amount of clients that you currently have, then you are setting your company up to hit an inevitable wall. Just as the systems of the human body are designed to grow from a single cell in utero to a full-grown adult, so too must your company's systems be ready for growth. Finally, and perhaps surprisingly, marketing is key to getting it right in the long run. So to quote Vern Harnish again, to prevent margin erosion, marketing's role is to determine the right what we should be selling to the best whos, and how best we should sell at the right price. If not, sales teams will chase any low-hanging fruit they can find, which is the quickest way to defocus the business and crush your margins. As a business owner, your job is to see these barriers and make steps to overcome them. Regardless of the growth phase that you're in, I recommend the following as first steps to moving in the right direction to help you to be able to scale up. In terms of leadership, identify the next critical key leadership position in your company and create a position profile for it. Define exactly what you are looking for and begin looking for that ideal person just before you think you can afford it. In terms of your scalable infrastructure, I want to challenge you over the next 60 days to create a scalable process for each of the key functions of your organization. So that may be HR, finance, sales, or operations. Look at your systems and processes and make sure you have a plan for how you're going to be able to scale those things as you grow. And finally, with marketing, define your ideal client, identify their deepest needs, and develop a plan to target those processes. If you understand these 3 barriers and you have a plan to overcome them, you will be laying a foundation that will allow your company to scale up in the future.